Okay, after about 20 minutes of fucking technical difficulties, my mic is working. We're finally here. Boomer Live, end of the year special, last podcast of 2021. We only missed 1 week this year. So I want to say 2 weeks since we started, since last June. This is episode 78. Gonna hit 100 in 2022, and this is the last episode of 2021. Like I said last week, we did our own divisional rankings, episodes 64, 66, and 67, if you want to go check out our YouTube page. That was in October. A lot has changed. We've had 3 major pay-per-views. We've had a couple fight nights. We've had a bunch of stuff happen. So throughout this podcast, we are going to talk about all the divisional rankings again, and we're going to go through them each one by one, starting off with, I was thinking, like, we would do the men's weight classes first. If we have time, we can get to the women's weight classes. If we don't, we can get to it next podcast. Before we get into it, check out all of our socials, our YouTube page, MMA Complete Podcast. Check out our Twitter, @complete_MMA. And then we also have some special shout-outs. MMA Betting Advisors, Slip the Jab Podcast, Against the Fence, and the MMA Media. All Twitter bios or Twitter links in the description. Gave us a lot of good feedback, people we should add. A lot of people said Colby should make it higher in our Colby Covington.
Yeah, in our pound for
pound. In our pound for pound list. People said Vicente Luque, Bilal Muhammad. I had someone even say Nate Diaz should be up there. And then the biggest asterisk that I have on my list is that I have John Jones listed. Yeah. And so that's one that's going to have some controversy, I know, but I do have him listed in the pound for pound and in the heavyweight rankings just because that's where he is. I know he didn't fight at all this year, but I mean, I have a bunch of people that didn't fight at all this year. Zabit Magomedsharipov, Jermaine Durandamy. There's a bunch of people. I don't think Zabit even fought in 2019.
Really?
He tore ACL, MCL, PCL last year, 2 years ago, something like that. So, but we're gonna get into all that when we get back. Also, go check out Fans Only Sports on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're going to be putting out a lot more content. I just released an article on fansonlysports.com of this entire ranking, so you can go check that out if you want a more concrete, or if you just don't want to listen to us for an hour. But without further ado, I will put up on the screen right now our total rankings. So this is the biggest picture that I could fit on my Google Sheets document. This has all of the rankings, not pound for pound, but men on top, women on bottom. That's the best way to see what we have going on, and we are going to take you through each division as this podcast goes through. I don't know if you guys are all going to stay. By the way, Austin and Dylan are going to be here. Colby and Mike joining me right now. I'm probably going to try to go 2 hours because I'm going to at least get all the men's divisions down. Hopefully I can get the women's division too. But I want to go for the men's divisions first, finishing out with pound for pound. We can jump right into it. So, first things first, and let me pull this up on the screen so we can see it a little bit better.
You see Not that video of a dude going up to Iggy Azalea and saying, "How do you feel about ruining rap?"
That's tough. Tough one for Iggy.
All right, so heavyweight division first. Let's get the big boys out of the way.
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou, undisputed champ. Not really much to say about that. He is the most feared man in the sport.
Terrifying.
He's the new Mike Tyson
Maybe on the planet
of UFC.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's an easy number one. Number two, this is just for me personally. I'm hoping you guys are going to disagree because I'd love to hear this. So UFC has Cyril Gane at number 2.
Yeah.
Me personally, now UFC doesn't have John Jones ranked. I do have him ranked. We're going to get to that in a second. But I have Cyril Gane at 4. I think that Stipe Miocic is rightfully the number 2 heavyweight in the world. I get that he only fights once a year. I get he got flatlined by Ngannou last time, but we're talking about Miocic. He's 35.
Yeah.
He just put a video on his Twitter, like he's just smiling, and then he puts the background. It's just a house on fire. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, I think Stipe's number 2, man. I get that Cyril Gane's up and coming. I get he's the interim champ. But he hasn't done anything so impressive to me. He beat Volkov and he beat Derek Lewis. And let's be frank, the rise of Derek Lewis was really fun last year.
That was awesome.
But he's not a great heavyweight. You put him against a guy who's so well-rounded.
Man, I don't know, though.
Would you just
He's
be...
still knocking motherfuckers
Derek Lewis just
out.
be Chris Dawkins.
Yeah.
And that guy was supposed to be the next guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Dawkins was fucking...
I'm not saying that Cyril Gahn's better than Derek Lewis. 100%. I will never say that. But
there's like a line in that
there's
division.
an absolute drop off.
There's a line in every division.
It's Ngannou, Gain, and then fucking Lewis is all the way down there. But
I would put
like,
Miocic in that upper bracket too.
Miocic,
You got, I mean, excluding Jones, you got Miocic, Gahn, and Ngannou, and then the rest of the division.
You have Jones under heavyweight.
Yeah, he's a heavyweight now.
But he hasn't fought in the heavyweight division.
Right, but he's a heavyweight now. That's who the UFC had him at ranked last.
Which is crazy.
It is.
Personally, I'm fine with you having Jones on there. You know how I feel about Jones.
Right.
I would have him above Stipe.
Okay. See, I can't do that yet. Stipe is the greatest of all time, in my opinion, for heavyweight.
I guess, yeah. As far as, like...
And Miocic's only lost to Ngannou and Cormier the first time, but he beat Cormier 2 more times. So that's almost canceled out. So, John Jones, I mean, I could put Jones at number 1 on this list, but I am the biggest John Jones homer. That's why I have him lower.
Yeah.
I can understand you putting Gahn above him, too. But I just think that John Jones, until he's beaten, is top
For the record,
3
I wouldn't
and
have
whatever.
Jones on this. I hate John Jones.
I
don't hate him. I'm just so disappointed with him.
The dude hasn't fought. You know, he's kind of a shithead.
All right, so after that, I have a very similar... I have the same top 10 after the top 4. Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, Alexander Volkov, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and Chris Dawkins, finishing out with Shamil Abdurakhimov in the top 10. That's a pretty solid list.
Yeah.
Chris Dawkins could have gotten higher. Jairzinho Rozenstruik could have gone higher. But at the end of the day, Curtis Blades should be even higher on this list if he didn't get knocked out by Derek Lewis. I like him at 6.
Is Derek Lewis not on this list?
Derek Lewis is 5, right under
Right
Gain.
below Gain.
I can't even see that.
Which is crazy that he's still there.
If you want, you can look at it right there.
You think it's crazy Derek
Not
Lewis is in the top 10?
Top 5. It's crazy that he's in the top 5.
Oh,
It
I
is.
see him.
He just shouldn't be there, but he's just such a knockout artist.
He's crazy.
I have a prospect, and I've been really getting into prospects in the UFC lately. Tom Aspinall, who is 10-0, and he's had 3 UFC fights, is number 11 for me. I have him higher.
Last fight?
His last fight was against Sergey Spivak. So he's actually 4-0 in the UFC. He's beaten Andrei Arlovsky. He's beaten Jake Collier. He has some names on his list, man.
Yeah.
And he's fighting Shamil Abdurakhimov in March. That's going to be a really big top 10 fight in the heavyweight division. Finishing out the top 15, I have Marcin Tybura, Sergey Spivak, Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa's a little low on this list. I can appreciate it. Here's the thing. He's hype.
He's got the
right?
it factor.
He's
He has the it factor. Is
That
his
dude.
skill there? Yeah, he can knock people out, but he doesn't have great
O'Malley
wins.
of the heavyweight.
Sure, I would say that.
That's
Except
the way to put it.
he's more entertaining in the ring, not outside of the ring. You don't really hear much about him on
That's
Twitter.
true,
Kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Finishing out the top 15, I have Augusto Sakai and Blagoy Ivanov. That's the top 15 list.
Do you not have Walt Harris?
Walt Harris? No, I don't have Walt Harris, and I will tell you why. Because that was one of the guys that I purposely left off. Walt Harris has lost 3 in a row.
Oh, shit.
Now, he's lost to Volkov and Tybura. Those are 2 pretty good wins.
Yeah,
But Overeem was at the end of his career.
Yeah.
His last 2 wins, Sergey Spivak is a good win, but that was like 4 years ago before Spivak was a true contender.
Yeah.
And Oleksiy Oleinik is way past his prime. He's only going to win if he grapples.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have anything of merit. He's just kind of a big name, and the UFC loves to promote their big names,
That's
especially in the
fair.
heavyweight division. So that's why I don't have Walt Harris. But he is right up there. I know that he's 14 on the UFC. I think he's number 16 for me. So he just missed the cut. So shouts to Walt Harris, but you are...
And
I would see him doing better in 2022, making the list for next year.
yeah, that's fair. And who do you have replacing him on this list?
I have...
Dispute? No.
I mean,
Yeah, Spivak.
Really, like, John Jones is probably the one that pushed him out. If Jones wasn't... If I didn't put Jones in there, he would be my 15.
Yeah, I get you.
That's it for heavyweight. It's not much of a change. The biggest change is really Cyril Gahn making the drop that he did and me putting Jones in there that UFC didn't. Besides that, the list is pretty similar. Heavyweight was really the closest. Heavyweight's really the one that you can't dispute too much because there wasn't a lot of fights this year in heavyweight.
Yeah.
So the rankings...
Not a lot happened in that
Right. All right. Moving on to light heavyweight. Let me just check the stream still and make sure I'm. Yeah, this is still
Not
working
talking
pretty
to
good.
air.
Right. I can actually, while we're doing this, since I do have that already shown, I can just pop this up like this. Make it easier to see. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Let me go like that. All right. So, light heavyweight division. Light heavyweight division, I did change a bit around from the UFC's rankings. I have people like Paul Craig higher than the UFC because I think Paul Craig is severely underrated. I have Magomed Ankalaev higher. I have Thiago Santos a lot lower.
Yeah.
And then my biggest thing, I wish Austin was here because he would back me up because me and him are homers for this guy.
Yeah.
So we just saw Glover Teixeira become the oldest first-time UFC champion in history.
Yes.
Just beat Jan Blachowicz in a great showing. He tapped him out after knocking him down in the second round. I'm not so sure that I still don't want to put Yuri Prochazka at number 1 on this list.
Which would be the second person that isn't champion.
Right.
Number 1, which we'll get to later. But
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also think
that's fair. That's kind of how people felt about Ngannou before he was champion.
Right, and it's
this
kind
guy's
of the
bound to
same
become
thing.
champion.
Now, the only reason I didn't, he's only had 2 fights in the UFC.
Yeah.
If he had 3 or 4 and shown what he has shown to this point and been undefeated, I would have put him at number 1. But the fact that he's only he I think the UFC gave him knockout of the year. I'm pretty sure they did.
Oh, fuck. Wow.
I didn't give him knockout of the year. If you want to check out our own personal superlatives, go check out episode 77 on MMA Complete Podcast on YouTube. We did our own superlatives last week. So number 1, I did put Teixeira. It's rightfully so.
Yeah.
He tapped out the champ. To be the man, you got to beat the man. He did it. Number 2, I have Prochazka, man. This guy doesn't have a flaw in his game. He's gone 2 fights, a round and a half each time, and he's knocked the fuck out of Volkan Ozdemir and Dominic Reyes.
They weren't schmucks either, that's the thing.
No, they're stand-up specialists.
Yeah. Crazy.
Jan Blachowicz, I was never huge on anyway. You know, he beat Adesanya, which on paper is a lot better than what it really was, because he was
built for light heavyweight.
in the ring. He was 35 pounds heavier than Adesanya,
Yes.
and he just grappled him the whole
That's
time.
absurd.
Like, yeah, you beat a guy like Adesanya, who is larger than life in the UFC these days.
Yeah, insane for him to take that fight.
It was absolutely insane. If Adesanya beat Blachowicz, it would have been so much more impressive than how Blachowicz beat Adesanya. So I have Blachowicz at 3, although I could have put him lower. But he was the champ. You know, he didn't have any championship defenses in his own division.
Right, so like that defense is with an asterisk.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
Alexander Rakic is next. Alexander
I like
Rakic,
him.
who has gone on a tear in the last 2 years. All those 5 fights, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, Jimmy Manuwa, and was it Paul Clark? All happened in the last 2 years, and the one time he lost was a knockout by Ozdemir, kind of a freak accident. He's beating the best people. The only thing is that he doesn't have any knockouts on his resume. That's the thing. He goes the distance with people. I'd like to see him finish some people. We're going to see Rakic versus Blachowicz in February. That's going to be a huge fight.
Is that a fight night?
That's a fight night pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh, pay-per-view fight night?
No. That's a fight night main event is what I meant to say, not a pay-per-view. Where is my... I have the upcomings. So... I think is it March?
I thought it was February.
March 26th, Blachowicz versus Rakic.
Yeah.
Askar
Kai
Askarov versus
France.
Kai Kara-France in the co-main event. Yeah, that's going to be a really
Holy
good one.
Shit.
We have a bunch of good shows to look forward to in 2022.
Kara-France just beat
Cody Garbrandt. But I'm getting ahead of myself. And then on my rankings next, I have Magomed Ankalaev. Now, Magomed Ankalaev's on a 5-fight win streak. It is 2 fights against Ion Cutelaba, who I think's really overrated. I don't really like Cutelaba. In that whole controversy of how he kind of gave Cutelaba chicken legs and Herb Dean stopped the fight wicked early. So that counted towards his 5-fight win streak. But he just absolutely smashed Ozdemir in a 3-round unanimous decision. He beat up Nikita Krylov. I think he made him tap in round 2. This guy's unstoppable, and he's one of those Dagestani motherfuckers that it's just like, where is their ceiling?
Taking over the world.
Yeah.
He's Islam Makhachev, except he's not as great on the ground, but he can knock you the fuck
Just
out, and he's
big.
at 205.
Just a big boy.
And the reason I put him above Anthony Smith is because while Anthony Smith's on a good little 3-fight win streak, I would say that Ankalaev's wins are more impressive.
Yeah.
Ryan Spann and Paul Clark are all right. Jimmy Crute's a good win for Anthony Smith. But Ozdemir is by far the best win of either of those two. So that's why I put Ankalaev above him. And then we got Dominic Reyes. Can I just say, what a
So
fall from
disappointing.
graces,
So
man.
disappointing,
I
dude.
thought he was going to beat the shit out of Jan Blachowicz and become the champ.
I thought he almost beat
Right.
Jones.
Yeah,
A
he
lot
did
of people
almost beat
think he
Jones.
should have beat
Yeah,
Jones. And
I
I'm
think
on
he
the
should've
fence
beat
about it.
Jones.
Like, he really could have.
Yeah.
But you
I
got to beat John Jones to beat John Jones.
Yeah.
I thought he won that fight.
Right.
But yeah, and then that loss to Blachowicz, man.
That was, and then I mean, look at his losses though. His only 3 losses
Are
Yeah.
are John
best
Jones, Jan
light
Blachowicz, and
heavyweights.
Yuri Prochazka.
Yeah, that's fair.
They beat Weidman.
That's 3
Chris
great
Weidman.
wins, and I'm glad you said that because he doesn't have that impressive of a win. He beat Ozdemir
Yeah.
in like 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
He
he
beat
only
Weidman,
Weidman.
who was never good at light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know, his loss to John
forget
Jones is the
Weidman.
best fight he's ever had. And so I could put him above Anthony Smith. I wanted to, but the fact that Smith's on a 3-fight win streak,
Yeah.
and no matter how impressive of a losing streak it is, we talk about impressive losing streaks, and Dominic Reyes has it. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. So that's why I put him right below. The next two, Santos and Ozdemir, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Thiago Santos deserves to be top 10, but the fact that his only win in the last 2 years is Johnny Walker doesn't say anything to me. Santos is a savage. Look for him to have a good 2022. And then Volkan Ozdemir is he's a good top 10 gatekeeper.
Yeah. He's
a good stand-up guy, but he's never going to get anywhere.
The Cowboys surround him.
And then Paul Craig. I'm way bigger on Paul Craig than the UFC. He has like 3 tap-out wins in a row, and then he had a draw to Shogun, and then before that he had 3 more tap-out wins, submission wins. You know, he hasn't fought a really great fighter yet.
Give him those.
The time he broke the collarbone or separated the collarbone of Jamal Hill was good,
Yeah.
but
Oh, I forgot about that fight.
yeah, it was like 30 seconds. He brought him to the
Holy
ground.
shit.
That was
Yeah,
at your
shit.
house.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
His arm was just like
Hanging
dangling
there.
for like a whole
yeah,
round.
Yep.
And then the round ended, and he was like, "I can still fight, dude."
You know, Paul Craig is one of those guys, if you get to the ground, like, I would love to see Paul Craig versus Ankalaev. Because you got 2 guys who can really grapple, but then you have Paul Craig is so much more lacking standing up than Ankalaev. So it would really expose him, but it would give Paul Craig a really good chance to make that level of competition with a fighter that has a similar skill set of him. I think that would be a really good fight to make. Although Ankalaev versus Santos is set to happen, I want to say in February. That's going to be a really good fight. Finishing out the top 15, Jamal Hill, who just had a pretty impressive win against Jimmy Crute. He knocked him out in the first round. Nikita Krylov, who, again, is one of the guys I think is overrated. I think it's just because he's been in the UFC for so long. Dana White wants to keep him on the list. Jimmy Crute, another prospect who has had some bad luck lately, but he's still young and he's got a lot to prove standing up. He's a really interesting fighter. He has that Dominic Cruz kind of head movement.
Yeah.
Johnny Walker.
I love
He had a hot start.
I love Johnny Walker.
He had a really hot start.
I don't actually love Johnny Walker.
He's like 6'6", 205, and can kick your fucking lights out.
Yeah.
But
But
if he doesn't land a head kick, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And Ryan Spann finishes out the top 15. Ryan Spann is going to fight Ion Cutelaba. That fight just got announced like 4 hours ago. That's either going to be at UFC 271 in February or 272 in March. That's light heavyweight. Like I said, I changed a lot in that division.
Yeah.
It kind of sucked because, honestly, light heavyweight is one of those divisions.
Pretty weak division, honestly.
It's pretty weak.
Yeah,
like,
I
the
was gonna
top
say-
5 is kind of good.
Yeah.
Or top 3, really.
It's getting better.
Definitely the division I know least about.
Right.
It's getting better.
And you have guys like Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes that should be carrying this division right now that have had such drop-offs in 2021, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But 2022, who knows? You know, you got Magomed Ankalaev making his way up there. Jamal Hill and Jimmy Crute are going to have something to say in 2022.
Yeah, a lot of good prospects in this division.
Right.
Which is good.
All right, moving on.
I'm interested in your middleweight.
Middleweight divisions. Okay, middleweight rankings. So, if you can see right off the bat, I have
Holy shit.
someone very high.
Yeah.
So when
you have someone missing in my eyes.
when you look at this list, all right, who do I have missing?
You're missing Alex Pereira.
Alex
That
Pereira,
man is
I have.
coming. That man is coming. Oh, you don't have Alex
Ooh, I
Pereira.
don't even have Alex
Whoa.
Pereira.
That man is
I have him
coming
against his next
up,
fight. He's
dude.
fighting Bruno Silva. That fight just got announced in March.
Okay.
Bruno Silva's
He's
the
gonna-
guy that just knocked the fuck out of Jordan Wright.
Yeah, I don't
So-
care. Alex Pereira's gonna knock him out.
Alex Pereira is the guy that knocked
Savage.
out Israel Adesanya in kickboxing.
Yeah.
I think he caught him. Like Adesanya, he got caught.
Right.
And then the second one was a controversial decision. I actually thought Adesanya won it, but
When did he make his debut? What card was he on?
it was recent.
Yeah, it was very
I think it was 268. I think it was the undercard of 268.
Yeah.
And he
Sounds right.
won spectacularly.
Which, by the way, is what I picked for card of the year
Yeah,
for
very good
2021.
card.
All right, so Colby, you had an interesting face. Did you recognize something right away that you want to say?
Brunson's high.
Mm-hmm.
Brunson's fucking
I was
high.
hoping you'd say that. Look at
Damn.
Derek Brunson's last 3 fights. Knocked out Till.
Yeah.
He went 5 rounds with Kevin Holland, who was the first person to stop the Kevin Holland hype train.
Yeah.
And he fucked up Edmund Shabazian, who's also the first person to beat Shabazian.
I mentioned that before the pod started. I forgot Holland had such a tear in 2020.
Now, here's the thing, right? In UFC's rankings, Vettori and Cannonier both ranked above
Which
Derek
is
Brunson.
Crazy.
I'm not a
I
huge
hate
believer in Jared
Vettori.
Cannonier.
Really?
Jared
I thought you were
Cannonier is a
saying Vettori.
savage. No, I'm definitely a believer in Vettori.
Really?
I am too. You don't like Vettori?
Nah.
Really?
Looking at it,
I love the Paulo Costa fight.
looking at it now,
I guess.
Brunson and Vettori for me are like tied for third. Like I could
Well,
put
we're gonna
Vettori
figure
above
that out
him
real quick.
or Derek Brunson.
Yeah.
But Jared Cannonier, I'm not really that impressed with. He beat Kelvin Gastelum. His fight against Jack Hermanson was pretty impressive, but you know he was good at light heavyweight, and then he came down to middleweight, and he's 2-1.
Was he good at
That's
light heavyweight?
good.
Who did he beat in light heavyweight?
Anderson Silva and David Branch.
Oh.
That was the fight that Anderson Silva fucked up his leg, though.
Uh,
His last
Oh,
one.
the
jeez.
second one.
The
Second
one.
time, right. But yeah, Derek Brunson, man, 5-fight win streak. He is really well-rounded. People want to talk about Marvin Vettori's well-rounded. I would say Derek Brunson's just as well-rounded, but has more power.
Yeah.
And so I like Brunson, but then again, Vettori's right there too. I just think Vettori, like when's Vettori going to get another chance? He's had 2 fights against Israel Adesanya. He didn't make a lot of his most recent championship
Yeah.
attempt. He won 1 round. I get it. It's against Adesanya, who's pound for pound like top 3 right now, which we'll get to in a second. But at the end of the day, when's Vettori going to be up there again? He's going to have to win like 3 more fights against top 7 guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to take a little bit.
And then Jared Cannonier, that might be a personal bias because I don't love Cannonier. His resume is pretty spectacular. His win against Jack Hermanson's huge. I think Jack Hermanson is super impressive. I think that he's super underrated, and we're going to see because I have him right under Cannonier. Although, actually, that's just... I'm going to get into that. Okay. Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa.
Man, get off the SARMs, bro. Seriously.
I thought he was going to be Adesanya, and now he's just fucking...
I knew there was no shot he was beating
Really?
Adesanya.
I was kind of convinced.
When you have a
For sure.
guy like Paulo Costa who's just a balloon,
Yeah.
you're
Creatine
He's-
and SARMs.
he's the Derek Lewis of this division. He's looking for a knockout. He's not gonna wrestle you. He's not gonna fucking wrestle you.
Yeah.
He has decent jiu-jitsu. I think he's a blue belt. He's decent jiu-jitsu, but he's not gonna wrestle you. He's gonna stand. He's gonna bang. Like his fight against Yoel Romero was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
But Paulo Costa just stayed in his face. No head movement, and he's not like spry.
I think that's why I like him.
Whereas you have Adesanya, who's a striking. What's the word when you're like absolutely perfect in one expertise in one area? Specialist. He's a striking specialist.
Savant.
Savant. That's a good word,
That's a
actually.
fighting style.
Savant. Yeah.
And so, I don't think Costa should even be as high as I have him. I could put Sean Strickland above Costa. I'd feel nothing against it. And by the way, Dana White has said that Paulo Costa's next fight will be at 205. He's not letting him fight.
Oh,
at
really?
180. Yeah,
That's
he
funny.
said that after the fight.
He's
Yeah,
like,
no
no shit.
I
'Cause
never-
he can't make weight.
I never tell anybody what weight class they have to fight in,
That's funny.
except for this time, because he's going to fucking not fight at 185 anymore.
That's funny.
And look, he walks around at 230. Walks around at 230. How are you going to
cutting
cut 45
50
pounds?
Like,
That's tough. That's a tough one.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Where do you
Killing
think Paulo
yourself.
Costa would be at light heavyweight?
Like ranked
Yeah.
right now?
You think he's above, like,
think he's high.
Dominic
I think
Reyes, Thiago Santos?
I think he's top 5.
Yeah, I'd say top 5.
Nah.
That's
I
tough.
think-
That's so tough.
it's-
Like, do you think he's above Reyes?
As far as UFC rankings, he's
Yeah.
between.
I would say
Santos
he's
and
above
Ankalaev.
Ozdemir.
He's right between Santos and Ankalaev for me, as far as the UFC.
Put him
rankings.
above Reyes?
Yeah.
I would put him, for UFC rankings, I think I would put him in between Reyes and Ozdemir. For my own, I'd put him between Ozdemir and Santos.
Well, we'll
Anyway,
find out.
going back to middleweight. Darren Till, I have at 8. Or 9. I have Darren Till at 9. Till needs to start getting some wins,
I
man.
wish he was.
Till's lost 4 of his last 5. He's only won 1 fight against the middleweight pincushion. That's Kelvin Gastelum.
Hey, chill.
Shouts to
Tyron
Kelvin
Woodley.
Gastelum. I love Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
But, like, Darren Till needs to get some wins. And he doesn't have any fights
Look at the
pronounced.
people he lost to.
Oh, they're great. It's a great loss record.
Very good loss record.
I mean, his loss against Masvidal, I'm not
remember
as
that fight.
big on Masvidal as everybody else is. I think Masvidal got a lot of lucky breaks,
Yeah.
honestly.
Is he?
Do you think? I forgot his name. Ben Askren. Do you think he beats him if he doesn't knee him in the face?
I don't know if he beats him, but I think it's a really close fight.
Yeah.
And I think if Askren gets him to the ground, I think Askren fucks up Masvidal on the ground.
That. If that didn't happen, I could have changed like the UFC.
Right, that's what
imagine
I'm saying. But at the
Askren goes
same
on a
time,
tear.
you can say that about a lot of fights, like what if this happened?
Yeah.
But Askren's a wrestler. Masvidal knew Askren was a wrestler.
Yeah.
So as soon as Masvidal
shoots.
ran,
Yeah.
Askren was gonna shoot and he needed him. It was perfect game plan. It was
Very good
absolutely
game plan.
perfect.
Makes
So you
sense.
can't even say like what if he took him down
That's
because he
fair,
tried to
yeah.
take him down. All right, coming up next, Kelvin Gastelum. Now you want to talk about the best loss record in the UFC? I put my money on Kelvin
Really?
Gastelum. I really do. You have Jack Hermanson, Robert Whittaker, and Jared Cannonier, who are all top 6 middleweight contenders. Then you throw in Darren Till, and before him, you throw Adesanya.
Yeah.
So, like, you're fighting 5 of the top 9 guys in the division. You lost to them all. That sucks, but that's a really great
Well,
loss.
what about Darren Till, Brunson, Whitaker, Masvidal, Woodley?
That's pretty
I
good
think
too.
That's a better, in my opinion, that's a better.
It's
loss
pretty
record.
good too. That's up there for sure.
I mean,
And I mean, he has the win over Gastelum, which is the deciding factor.
exactly.
He's
yeah,
above him.
Exactly.
No, yeah, that's a good point. That is really good.
That's a crazy loss record. I feel like
There really
There's-
is.
I don't think there's anyone on this list with
The middle
with
of
those
this division
names.
is so tight.
It's
And then
so
the top
tight.
two,
It's so tight.
Whitaker Adesanya is
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I glanced over this. Strickland versus Hermanson is set for a fight night in February main event.
Oh, yeah.
And Derek Brunson versus Jared Cannonier is UFC
nice.
271. That's the co-main event of Adesanya versus Whittaker.
Oh wow.
So 2
Oh.
huge middleweight bouts in the same card.
Win-
Yes,
Winner faces winner.
Winner,
I feel like.
right.
Yeah.
exactly. Unless, I mean, if Whittaker beats Adesanya, we're
Yeah,
gonna see the
then it's gonna
rematch.
be a
Right.
rematch, yeah, right.
All right, finishing out the top 15, Uriah Hall, who had a loss to Sean Strickland this year, but before that was on a pretty big tear. He is still in the division somehow after being 35 years old, and usually those kickboxing Thai fighters don't last too long. He's lasted one of the longest in UFC history.
Their bones are all breaking.
Nazardine Imavov, a big prospect in the division who just had a huge win over Edmund Shabazian, comes in at 11. We got my boy Kevin Holland, who is 12 in this, and he's 14 in the UFCs. I don't know how he's 14. I get that he's lost a lot, but he had 5 wins in 2020, and then you lose to Derek Brunson and Marvin Vettori.
Yeah.
That's a really good loss record, too. And you have a no contest against Dawkins because of the eye poke that happened.
Oh, that's
yes.
right.
So-
Yes.
I could even put him higher. I could have put him above Imavov and Hall, but the fact that he hasn't had a top 10 win,
Yeah.
like his biggest wins against Jacare Souza, he hasn't even had a top 15 win.
Yeah.
the 5-fight win streak is what really propels him. That doesn't happen a lot, but you need a top 15 win to get into the top 10. I would say that's fair.
For sure.
That's definitely more than fair.
All right. You guys ready for my hot take of this episode?
Oh, boy. I know. I
I
don't know what you're going to say. That's the crazy thing.
You ready?
Can we get like a cut like hot takes?
In 2022,
Okay.
Andre Muniz will be a top 5 middleweight.
That's...
Andre Muniz.
I don't even know if
That's
I know
not a
who
hot
that
take.
is.
I don't think that's a hot take.
You think that's a hot take? This division's so stacked, though. That's the only reason I say it.
Yeah.
To get into the top 5, like, I'm talking he's going to be above either Cannonier or Brunson.
If he beats Costa, if they have... Oh, wait. Costa's moving up. I was
Right.
going to say, but if he beats one of those guys that are, like, kind of iffy there, maybe. I mean, give him the loser of Hermanson Strickland.
I think you give him... Here's the thing. Andre Muniz has finished his last 3 fights in a first-round submission.
Yeah.
So you got to give him someone that either has great takedown defense or is really good in jiu-jitsu. My thing, I would love if Chris Weidman could get healthy. If his leg can repair and he's going back to fighting shape, I think Weidman-Muniz would be an amazing matchup.
I think Weidman's done.
I think so too, but if by chance he is,
Which
that'd be
sucks.
great.
I loved Chris Weidman.
Brad Tavares is at our 14.
Yo.
Edmund Shabazian finishes up the top 15. Shabazian had a huge 2020, but he had a couple losses at the end of 2021. But I like him at the 15 spot. He's kind of still a prospect. He's been in here for a little bit, but he is, I think, one of the top names to look for. He's just getting better. He's only 24 years old. What do you think of the middleweight ranks?
Austin.
Where?
Right there.
On the screen.
Yeah, I like them.
It's okay.
This has been.
That's the middleweight ranks. So we are 3 ranks down. We got 5 to go, plus pound for pound. Hour left. I think we're actually making decent time.
Yeah.
We started 20 minutes
Wow,
late today.
Hermanson above Costa, huh?
Oh, yeah.
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 I like Costa,
Okay.
but we just talked about how he's
Till's up there, huh?
Till's number 8. Number 9 total. Number 8 contender.
What is he, like 1 and 2 his last 3?
I have him right there. The Reds losses, the Greens.
Ryan
wins.
Hall?
No. Uriah Hall.
Uriah Hall, okay. Okay. Strickland, yeah.
I'm pretty confident with this list. Like, there's some that I could change. Derek Brunson is a bit... Like, I get that you don't
Hermanson
like...
Costa, you could change... Like, Holland's down there.
Holland's at 12. UFC has him at 14.
Yeah.
I feel like that is low.
I could put... Here's the thing. I could put Andre Muniz at, like, 10.
that's bold. He's on a crazy
5-fight win streak.
Yeah.
3 first-round submissions. He's another guy that he doesn't have a top 15 win,
Chris
though.
Weidman.
Chris Weidman.
Broken.
All right. So the left is my rankings.
Fucking
The right is the UFC's. The right...
Right.
Weidman was, up until today, the UFC just changed their rankings today. He was 14, Holland was 15, and they just put Holland above him.
Well,
Wow.
Wait.
Shabazian's not even ranked. I have him on my rankings.
Till's so high, dude, for what? I don't know.
All right, that's
Don't
going to
get
do
it.
it for middleweight rankings. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We have a couple more
Gasol,
divisions to
too.
get through. When we get back, welterweight division. One of the best divisions, one of the tightest divisions. That's going to be really good. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So here we go. Welterweight rankings coming up next. Welterweight, I'm ready. I don't think that there's going to be much flack for this one. I think we're going to really agree on, honestly.
Yeah.
The biggest change that I have from UFC is that I have Khamzat Chimaev higher than what the UFC does.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have...
Kazmat, am I in the picture? Am I just a
There's
voice?
barely any picture anyway.
You are...
I'm a voice.
You are not in the picture,
Your
no.
voice.
Your voice.
Your voice.
Your
Your voice
ghost.
in the wind.
Woo!
Austin is here. All right, so Usman, Covington,
Physically.
Burns.
Physically, just not.
Usman, Covington,
Yes,
Burns. I
you.
think that's pretty set. I
Yeah.
think that is the top three. I don't think there's really any concern.
Colts are plus
I have
1800s.
Luke
Hey, we don't
over.
talk betting odds.
Oh yeah.
I
that's
have
right.
Luke over Edwards.
Okay.
I have Luke at number 3.
Gun the head.
Shout out to MMA betting advisors. I had a long conversation over DMs with them today. They're what's kind of put me at Luke over Edwards. They actually had a case for Leon Edwards being higher because I had Edwards at like 7. And now I have him at number 5.
You had
Respect.
Edwards at 7?
Yeah. I'm not a believer in Leon Edwards, man. He beat Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz hadn't fought in 3 years.
Yeah.
He had a no contest against Bilal Muhammad. Like I would really wish that fight would have gone to the distance because Muhammad has, in the last 2 months, been the biggest riser in divisions.
Sure.
So I have Edwards at 5. I love it. And then this one I could change. I wanted to change it today, but I already sent you guys the links.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to change it right now if you want.
Okay.
Jorge Masvidal 6, Muhammad at 7 right now. Do we think Muhammad should be above Masvidal? Muhammad, his last 2 fights, beat Stephen Thompson and Damian Maia. Damian Maia, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the UFC. And I want to say, I don't have the exact stat in front of me, but I want to say that Muhammad stopped him to 1 of 14 takedowns. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And then he absolutely
He's insane.
dominated Thompson on
He's
the
one of
ground.
the best takedown defenders in the UFC.
So he's won 4 of his last 5. The only non-win was a no contest that he got poked in the eye.
Yep.
Against the top 3 guy.
Yep. That's tough.
Is he above Masvidal,
I
man?
think
Masvidal, listen, his last 3 wins, again, Nate Diaz, who hasn't been competing. Ben Askren, that was a good knockout, but Askren wasn't a great stat. He doesn't have a great resume behind him. And then Darren Till was a good win. Yeah, it was a good win.
How
was
long
so
ago
long
was Nate Diaz?
that was 20
2.5 years ago?
Yeah, so
2018?
I don't know if you can put him that high.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree that Muhammad is over Masvidal just because
Putting
of recent,
Muhammad above Masvidal?
recent history.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm with it. I really am with it. Masvidal, he needs to do something, man. Like everybody's talking about this Colby versus Masvidal fight. I've been waiting on that for a little bit, but now looking at it, like Colby's gonna fuck up Masvidal. Like I don't even need to see that fight.
I'm seeing something in your rankings that I'm fucking loving.
Okay,
Sean Brady.
Sean Brady.
I love Sean Brady.
Sean Brady is severely underrated.
I
Sean
fucking
Brady
love
is
that dude.
15-0.
I love.
He just beat Michael Chiesa.
Yep.
Michael Chiesa was like top
Holy
5
shit.
borderline like
I've
2 months
bet-
ago
I've
before he
bet
lost to Luque.
On the last 5 fights he's had on him, and he's won.
Sean Brady is
It's 15-0.
for the UFC the number
favorite
9
fighter.
contender. I have him as the number 6 contender.
Yeah.
7. I have him as the number 7 contender. And then below him,
Tatted up.
I have Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
would-
Khamzat Chimaev is
that
number
man's a
8.
smasher.
I could put him above Brady. The only thing is
You could put him at
Chimaev.
3.
Honestly, you could.
You really could. Chimaev needs
He's a fucking
another
beast.
big win.
Yeah.
Chimaev he beat Li Jingliang, who was number 14 ranked. That's a good win. Now you need a top 10 win. Once you get one top 10 win and you're as dominant as you are as Chimaev,
Yeah.
I'm ready to put you at top 3.
Yeah,
top 3 or top 4. Like, I'm so ready for that.
Well, that's like.
I think he. I
Project.
don't know. I think he manhandles the top 10.
I think legitimately, not only does it make sense skill-wise, it kind of makes sense ranking-wise. It
I think he
absolutely
fucks him up.
makes sense box office-wise. Covington Chimaev. That's the fight
Wow,
to me.
that's a big one. I
That's
was
a
gonna
jump.
say, like,
Dude, that is the
he
fight to
manhandles the
make.
whole division.
I mean,
until he hits
Muhammad
the top
Chimaev
2.
makes sense too. Muhammad Chimaev makes sense too.
Yeah.
But this guy is like a Conor McGregor trajectory, man. You're only gonna get one more win out of him before Dana's throwing him to the title shot.
Muhammad
Yeah.
called him out, too.
Yeah, Muhammad wants to fight Chimaev.
He's like the only person that wants to fight him, which is insane.
Dana White said that Neil Magny would fight him too. He said that Neil Magny would fight anybody. Neil Magny just doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Speaking of Neil Magny,
doesn't.
he's number 9 on my list. Neil Magny's been... He beat Jeff Neal. He lost to Michael Chiesa, but before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak.
Beat Robbie Lawler. Hell yeah.
Robbie Lawler's way out of his prime.
Yeah, I know.
Beat Li Jingliang back in the day. His Jeff Neal fight was kind of a bore, but it was just because Magny took him down the whole entire time.
He's lame.
Next, Stephen Thompson, who had a fucking fall from graces, man. I love Stephen Thompson. His workout videos are hilarious, but he lost to Bilal Muhammad in a really devastating way. Bilal Muhammad probably looks better than he should because of that win.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to believe in Bilal Muhammad and bet on Bilal Muhammad, probably for no reason, because Stephen Thompson doesn't have any ground game. He's a kickboxer.
Yeah.
And Muhammad took advantage of that 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Finishing out the top 15, Jeff Neal's up next. Jeff Neal is one of those guys that just flies under the radar. I really could have put Michael Chiesa above him. I was a big fan of Michael Chiesa until he got fucked up by Sean Brady.
Yeah.
Michael Chiesa was on his way to being a top 5 welterweight after having a middling career in lightweight. He was then 3-0 in welterweight or 4-0 in welterweight, and then he's lost 2 in a row. Two pretty impressive guys, Luque and Brady.
Yeah.
So I could put Chiesa above Neal. Looking at it now, I'm not sure why. I think because Jeff Neal just had a win against Santiago Ponzinibbio. That was kind of impressive.
No,
Li Jingliang somehow makes my top 15. I got to be honest with you. I don't.
he sucks.
He kind of sucks.
He sucks.
I mean, he looked like a baby, but that's just because Kamaev was so dominant.
Is insane, yeah.
That's the top 15 to welterweight. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be too much controversy. I think we can all kind of agree that it's a decent list.
Yeah. Nico Price. Is that Nico Price? Am I right
Yeah,
in
that's
saying
Nico
that?
Price.
Yeah.
Nico Price just hasn't had a big win in so long.
Is he just not fighting anymore? I'm looking at this.
He fight Alex Oliveira in, I want to say, August. That was his last fight.
Shit.
Real quick, I do want to say some prospects that I think will absolutely be in this list in the top 15 next year. Michel Pereira. Michel Pereira is the guy that has the fucking ponytail. He had some spinning head kick.
Where's yellow
Wait,
shorts?
was that the...
Yes, that guy.
Is it the spinning head kick where the guy grabs
The
his leg
tornado
and he
kick?
just-
No, that's
okay.
Joaquin Buckley.
Okay.
This guy's a fucking.
I can't
he
remember.
goes
I
balls
want to
the
say
wall.
he was like... No, there was a guy laying down and Michel Pereira literally like spinning head kick leg dropped him or some stupid shit. He's going to be up there. And then the number 2, I have my own prospect ranking list of pound for pound prospects on Fans Only Sports. Go check that article out. The number 2 prospect in all of UFC, Shavkat Rakhmonov. This guy is Ukrainian. He's not Dagestani, but he damn well might as well be because he just takes people down and fucks him up. This is literally all he does. He's 13-0. He's 2-0 in the UFC. Rakhmonov is going to have,
genes.
I want to say, a fight in February, and I think after that he will be in the top 15. But I think he's going to have a big 2022. And that's it for the welterweight rankings. I think that that's
division.
pretty
Second best division. I would say.
close.
You think anyone's ever ended up on Fans Only Sports by accident looking for OnlyFans?
I think that's one of the reasons that my boss called it Fans Only Sports. I truly do. I really do. And that's a huge inside joke at the company, and I always bagging on him for it. All right, lightweight rankings up next. Let me just make sure that we're all good. I haven't looked at the stream in a minute. Yep, we're good. Okay.
UFC has.
Here we go. UFC has Gaethje over Poirier. What do we think about
I think
that?
I like that. I do think I like that.
I like that.
So here's my thing. Poirier's losses are more impressive than his wins. He's lost to Khabib and Charles Oliveira, who I would say are the 2 best lightweights in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Those are great losses.
He beat McGregor twice, too.
Yeah, but McGregor's not really McGregor anymore.
Here's the thing.
He was the first time.
I have a hot take about McGregor.
He was the second time. I think he was better the second time.
Oh,
the
really?
first time, Poirier fucked him up. The second time, McGregor was arguably in that fight, but he just broke his leg.
I have a hot take about McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to go on a second tear.
Really? I have McGregor way higher ranked than I thought I was going to.
I was going to say that.
You think McGregor moves up a weight class?
Yes, that's what I was just about to say. I think he moves up a weight class.
He goes after Usman.
He beats Diaz.
What if he fights Chimaev?
You're reading my fucking mind. I think he beats Diaz, then he beats Chimaev, ends his reign. And
No way. There's
Usman.
no fucking way McGregor beats Chimaev.
Because he could get
not a chance.
Dude, he could get 3 fights to the champion. He beats Diaz, he beats Chimaev.
I don't think he beats Chimaev. I think
no
Chimaev
way he
just
beats
takes him to the
Chimaev.
ground
Yeah, Chimaev absolutely fucks him up on the ground.
Smashes him on the ground.
Oh my god. Imagine like how much I would buy that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
100% though.
For the record, I hate
You buy
Conor,
all the pay-per-views though.
Right, that's a good point. But like, oof. McGregor versus Chimaev. Imagine the shit talking leading up to that fight.
It would sell so well.
It would sell so well. All right, so Charles Oliveira, undisputed #1 lightweight, no contest. I have Poirier at 2. I mean, listen, Justin Gaethje has a pretty good resume, right? He has a pretty good resume. His only loss in the last like 2.5 years is Khabib.
That's a good way to
And
put
he
it.
kind
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
and he kind of won the first round against Khabib.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It's like he's only lost 2 rounds in his UFC career, I think, maybe 3. 1 to Conor, 1 to Gaethje.
Yeah.
Like, so that's impressive. But when you look besides that, his fight against Tony Ferguson, he fucking picked him apart like we'd never seen. That was shocking.
Such a crazy fight.
That was shocking.
Everybody had Ferguson.
His fight against Chandler was more hype and a crazy fucking fight than it was a good fight. I didn't really think that was a great fight. I just thought that it was spectacular.
I was scared for Gaethje.
Gaethje landed like 17 uppercuts in a row that Chandler didn't block. Like it was cool, but it wasn't a great technical fight.
Electric.
He beat Donald Cerrone. Everybody's beating Donald Cerrone. He beat Edson Barboza. Everybody's beating Edson Barboza.
That's a shit.
Like, no disrespect. Cerrone has the most
Donald
wins.
Cerrone.
He's a baller. But like everybody's beating Donald Cerrone.
Oh my god.
So I just think that Poirier, he
should put
just has a
Sean
way
O'Malley.
better resume,
Yeah.
and that's why I would put
I
him
don't like
above him.
Poirier. He's just
I don't not like him. I just think, I don't know. I think his loss. You said this, right? His losses are better than his wins.
Right.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And I mean, at some point that'll hurt you.
But I also
get
think
it.
Poirier, Oliveira. No, he was winning that fight, huh?
I would say that it was 1-1 going into the
Yeah.
third, and then first of all, Dustin Poirier looked defeated before he even came into the third round, and then within 2 minutes he was tapping out.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did it, like he was standing in a rear naked choke with Oliveira behind him. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you, if you're gonna tap out anyway? Why wouldn't you just try to jump and slam him on your
slam
back?
him.
Why? And I don't even want to say that because I'm so not a mixed martial arts fighter. Like I can't say why wouldn't you do that because then I'm one of those fucking
you wrap
guys.
the legs and you can get into it deeper, extend it.
He could have done a bunch of things, and I mean he rightfully tapped to the greatest submission artist of all time. So
Yeah.
no disrespect there. It was a lingering question I had.
Yeah.
Either way, I would say that Poirier is above Gaethje slightly, very slightly, and Gaethje is the fight to make with Oliveira next in 2022. I would say that. Although Charles Oliveira wants to fight Conor. He does. He says that his next fight he wants to fight McGregor. Yes. And I mean, why not? You're the champion. You've been 10-0 in your last fights. Why not fight a guy who's in the top 10 you're not really worried about and make millions of dollars to do it?
I think Connor's too heavy now, though.
Did you see?
He's
that
like
picture of
185.
McGregor?
Yeah,
He's fucking.
I think he's heavier than
huge.
that.
He's gonna fight Diaz. He's training to fight
He's
Diaz.
a big motherfucker.
I think that's the fight to make.
he could make middleweight right now.
Probably.
Like he's like 185.
Yeah, he's huge.
All right. So up next, the UFC in my list flipped for the 4 and 5. I have Makhachev over Darush.
I like that.
UFC has Darush over Makhachev.
And they're fighting each other.
I like yours.
Both guys are on 6-fight win streaks. Actually, I think Darush is on a 7. Makhachev is on a 6-fight win streak. I would say Makhachev's is a little bit more impressive than
Little bit,
Darush.
yeah.
A little bit. Diego Ferreira, Tony Ferguson are good wins for Beneil Darush. Makhachev has Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises, and Drew Dober, all by submission in the first 3 rounds. That's more impressive.
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev just also has the eye test. Like, he's a more exciting fighter. Darush is super boring. He's the Tyron Woodley fighter.
Yeah.
He's going to take you down and hold you for 5 rounds or 3 rounds, whatever it is. That fight is going to be really, really good in February. Beneil Dariush versus Islam Makhachev, main event for a fight night. That's going to be a really
That's a
good
fight
fight.
night?
That's a fight
They're
night main
stacking
event.
fight nights, huh?
Yeah, they are.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, they are. Let's see. When is it again? February 26th, Makhachev versus Dariush.
Is Pereira scheduled?
Alex Pereira?
Yeah.
Alex Pereira's fighting Bruno Silva. I want to say
The far out. Probably.
March 12th.
Okay.
Tight.
Is that's on a main card too?
That's a fight night.
Santos. Damn.
I have all the
So
fight nights, just the dates, and then I have pay-per-views that's
Dude,
right under it.
These fight nights are sick.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
What the fuck?
Blachowicz, Ratchik.
Hermanson Strickland. Makhachev Dariush, Santos Ankalaev, Abdurakhimov Aspinall, Blachowicz Rakic. March 26th is looking to be really good.
Yeah, that's a
Askarov
good
versus
one.
Kara France could main event its own.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. Coming up next, I have Michael Chandler, who I would say was the Rookie of the Year of 2021.
His first fight was in 2021.
Really?
He fought 3
It was
times this
in-
year?
I feel like
I
he's
feel
This is
like-
January.
Damn, I feel like he fought Hooker last
His
year.
first fight
That's
was the
crazy.
first. It was the first fight night of 2021. It was a main event against Dan Hooker, and he knocked him out the first punch,
That
or
was-
knocked him out in the first minute.
That was Oliveira Ferguson, right?
Yes, but that wasn't the pay per view. That was McGregor Poirier too.
Oh,
That's
shit,
what it
that's
was.
Right.
That's what it was. Yep.
Damn.
And then he
Chandler,
lost to
Gaethje?
Oliveira and he lost to Gaethje, all in 1 year. I would say the Rookie of the Year, but
Just a tough. You fight the
That
Not the
fight,
three best,
that
but,
Justin
like-
Gaethje fight, I think was fight of the year, man. That was an awesome fight.
yeah. That's a sick
and
fight.
he's shown that he's super well rounded. He's a great stand up game,
Yeah,
like what you
that's
saw
the
with
thing.
Gaethje, and he can wrestle and have great jujitsu defense against Oliveira. Oliveira had Chandler in such a deep rear naked choke,
and he just
and
didn't
Chandler
fucking
got the
stop.
fuck out of it.
Just didn't fucking tap it.
Super impressive. After Michael Chandler, at number 7, I have Conor McGregor. Thoughts? Above Tony Ferguson, Rafael Dos Anjos.
Dude, you can't say a lot about him, just because coming off of an injury, first of all.
You want to talk about loss records? Khabib and Poirier twice. One of them was because he broke his leg.
That's when
But he hasn't had a meaningful win in years.
he also.
Right.
You look at his 5th fight. That was in 2017.
16, I think. When he
He
beat
just
Eddie Alvarez.
hasn't
That's the
fought
champ
well.
champ. That's the champ fight.
Yeah.
That was his last
You
big
know what
one.
happened since then? Fucking
A
Floyd
a lot.
Mayweather. He
Yeah.
fought Floyd Mayweather at some
Right.
like. You just can't say a lot about him right now.
He's gotten beat in everything he's done since then.
He's got to beat another person.
I think you're right, though. I think his next fight is Nate Diaz. I
Yeah.
think the trilogy is going to happen in 2022.
You just got to beat someone right now. I think if he loses,
One of the top fights we're looking forward to in 2022. That's got to be
Nate
one of them.
Diaz,
Top
Conor
3 at
McGregor.
least.
Yeah.
Do you think McGregor boxes before he does UFC again?
No,
No,
I think he's
no.
going to be in the UFC.
Do you think if he loses to Diaz, he goes and fights Jake Paul?
I do. That's what I was getting at. Jake Paul McGregor. That would
I know-
sell, motherfucker.
I know you
That
don't
would
like bringing up Jake
sell.
Paul.
No, I don't mind bringing up Jake Paul.
Nah.
No.
Not after the way he
Listen,
Pieced up.
listen.
embarrassed Tyron Woodley.
Well, Tyron Woodley was winning that fight.
Tyron Woodley
I
is
love that's
39 years old, all right?
Yeah.
He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Beating Tyron Woodley's in boxing is only slightly more impressive than beating Ben Askren in
Okay,
boxing.
you can say that, but Tyron Woodley was UFC champion.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
you
it's
can't really-
impressive.
you
It's
can't
just not
discredit
really
it.
impressive.
I don't know. You box Tyron Woodley.
Jake Paul's a great boxer.
Also,
I really will
Yeah,
say that. He
okay.
really
the most
is,
boring
and he's getting
UFC
better.
Champion.
And he's getting better.
UFC champion. You're not
I'm-
UFC champion.
Do you think
Isn't
he
someone-
boxes Conor McGregor? Do you
Isn't someone
think he
boxing Mike Tyson?
does?
Nah, someone already boxed Mike Tyson.
Roy Jones Jr. Yeah,
he
no,
was
Mike
junior.
Tyson's.
No,
He's
I
supposed to
thought-
be boxing Logan Paul.
I thought, yeah,
He's supposed to be
that's what I
boxing
was
Logan Paul.
thinking.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I think that's supposed to happen in February.
Mike Tyson is gonna hurt that.
Nah,
that kid.
Mike-
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's gonna knock
Mike
him the
Tyson is
fuck
gonna hurt
out.
him.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
he'll be alright.
No,
I
no,
like-
no.
I like
he
Logan Paul's
awoke the
podcast.
beast, man. He awoke.
Listen,
the
if
beast.
Floyd Mayweather basically knocked out Logan Paul but kept him up in that fight that they had.
No, that
Yeah.
wasn't a real thing.
Yeah, he did. And if Floyd Mayweather can at least rock Logan Paul, Mike Tyson could kill Logan Paul.
That's not gonna be pretty.
I don't know.
Logan Paul's a good boxer too. And
Yeah, but-
that dude could be in Logan Paul could be in the UFC way more than Jake Paul could. Logan Paul has
Logan
like
Paul was like
Division
Is he an
II
actual
wrestling
wrestler? Oh,
credentials.
no shit.
Swear to
Yeah.
God, from the University of Cleveland.
Yep.
Like he was actually a really good collegiate wrestler.
Yeah.
There's a video of him sparring, like play wrestling with Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Paulo
wow.
Costa's really trying, and Logan Paul's giving him a run for his money.
All right.
Logan Paul's also only like 26.
I hate good wrestlers. I got my ass kicked by a wrestler the other night.
Wrestling has become the most dominant
The Dagestani
field
fighting.
in
Yeah.
UFC.
MMA.
It's gnarly.
Well, that-
it's something to behold,
see,
man.
Now, I wish I was more informative on the subject because I would say that wrestling and Sambo are actually different. They're closer than a lot of other
No, I would
MMA
agree.
fields,
Well,
but they are different.
Sambo, I don't even know really what Sambo,
Sambo is Russian wrestling.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay.
So it's like wrestling 1A.
Okay, interesting.
Like,
Anyway,
They
we're
just fight bears instead
Right.
of people. It's
imagine
the only
like
difference.
tying your opponent with your body and then just
Like Khabib
and
does.
just destroy.
Have you ever
obviously.
seen Islam Makhachev's arm sweep?
If I
That sounds
saw,
scary.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna reenact this real quick just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Put your arms out. All right. So they're like kind of in a position
fighting
like an
position?
over under. They're like in an
Okay,
over under,
okay.
right? Makhachev goes this way. He goes underneath the arms
Yeah.
and then he sweeps out and pulls the arms and the guy literally face fucking plants.
Oh, I see what you're
Just
saying.
pulls him.
Have you never seen that video?
I
I'm gonna
don't
show
think
that to you
so.
after.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny. It's so funny. He literally ragdolls him.
Oh, yeah.
Face plants.
All right, we're getting off topic. Tony Ferguson is up after Conor McGregor. Tony Ferguson has also had a good loss record. Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush, all top 4 in the division. But Tony Ferguson has just looked really past his prime, and that's why I have him under McGregor.
Yeah.
The eye test, like you
Another
can
guy.
see that
I
he
think-
doesn't have it anymore.
Another
Pre-
guy that's been too long. since he's had a good
Pre-Dariush
one.
fight, I thought he was still top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, he's getting old.
He made Dariush look a lot better than what he was too.
He's, I don't know. Dude. I was a supporter of him before that fight.
And then number 9. This is a guy that I have higher because he's a prospect. This is my number 2 prospect. This is my number 3 prospect. Rachmanow's 2. Fiziev is number 3.
I don't know if I know.
Rafael Fiziev is on a 5-fight win streak. He just beat another big prospect, Brad Riddell at UFC 268. He knocked him out in the 3rd round. He has like 3 knockouts of his last 5 fights, and he has Brad Riddell and Bobby Green and Renato Moicano on his list. Those are 3 like mid-carders, like 3 decent. Bobby Green and Renato Moicano are more like journeymen.
I like Bobby Green.
But to knock them both out and knock out Brad Riddell, so Fiziev is like 13-0, Brad Riddell is like 12-1.
Yeah.
I probably put him a little higher, but that's just because I'm expecting him to be really one of those guys. I think he makes another big leap. I think he fights someone like Dan Hooker or Gregor Gillespie and has a really good showing. I think he's going to get a lot of credit. I think he's going to go in the top 5 and lose against the guy because he's
Yeah.
only 24. He's not really there yet. But I think that around that 5 to 8 range is where he's going to really remain for a couple years. I really like Rafael Fiziev.
It's gonna take your time with him.
Next, Rafael Dos Anjos. I
Jesus.
don't like Rafael Dos Anjos.
Jesus.
Rafael Dos Anjos is only still ranked because he was a UFC champion at one point. That's the only reason he's still ranked.
I forgot about that.
Right. He beat Paul Felder 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
He lost to Michael Chiesa and Leon Edwards, beat Kevin Lee, and he lost to Kamaru Usman. Now that's a good loss record, right? Until I tell you that
No.
Edwards was in 2017 and Usman was in 2016,
Yeah.
right? So his only 2 wins in the last 5 years are Kevin Lee and Paul Felder, both out of the UFC. And he was supposed to fight Kamaev last year, and he bitched out. Or this year, I should say. He was supposed to fight this year.
Huh.
So I don't like Rafael Dos Anjos. I could have not put him on this list, but the fact that the UFC has him at 7,
That's bonkers.
Yeah, that's
Tonight-
they have
have
the
him
number
above
6
Hooker?
contender.
so high.
I have something to say about Hooker too.
Well, Hooker's next on my list at number 10. What do you got?
UFC did him so dirty.
You think so?
They did him so dirty
How would you say?
because
Where do you put
He's the
him?
one that accepted the fight against Makhachev, if that's what you're going to say. I agree with you that
they
was
shouldn't have let him.
right.
Wasn't that like 2 weeks after his fight with?
It was a month. It was he beat Hawk Parast at 267, and then he lost.
Which
to
was an
Makhachev at
impressive win
268.
for him. He
was a
gets
pretty
back
good
in the
win,
win
yeah.
column after losing to two of the best in the division.
Have you guys ever heard of the YouTube channel MMA on Point?
I have.
It's a pretty big. They do a lot of like top 10 lists and shit like that, and they made a list of top 10 fighters went into knowing they were gonna lose, and Dan Hooker was one of the top of that list. Like he knew he was gonna lose to Makhachev. He got paid.
That's just dude.
Dan Hooker's lost 3 of his last 4. He lost to Dustin Poirier in one of the fights of the year of 2020. That was a great fight. He almost beat Poirier. That's impressive. He got fucked up by Michael Chandler.
Yep.
He beat Hawk Parast. Hawk Parast isn't really a big prospect. It's kind of like okay, you got to win. Let's see where you go from here. And then he got fucked up by Makhachev.
I just wish you didn't take that. Makhachev
Right,
fight.
I agree with you.
'Cause
He
he
shouldn't
could-
have.
I just like him. I'm just a fan of Dan Hooker, and I don't think they gave him. They like you said, he took the fight. But
Right. And the next 4 fighters are really all pretty good prospects in the lightweight division. The lightweight division has one of the best prospect lists of any division. Grigor Gillespie, who's 25, he's won 4 of his last 5. He only lost to Kevin Lee. You got Matus Gamrot. Gamrot is on a 3-fight win streak in which he beat Jeremy Stevens and Diego Ferreira. Brad Riddell, who we just talked about, his only loss is to Rafael Fiziev. He's now 12-1. And then Arman Sarukian. Sarukian has won 4 of his last 5, but he hasn't been really against anybody as of note.
Yeah.
He is fighting Eddie Alvarez soon. Eddie Alvarez and Arman Sarukian are on an undercard of a pay-per-view, I want to say at 271.
Still fighting?
Eddie Alvarez is my number 15.
It's like that Gandalf meme. That's
Holy
That's a name I haven't heard.
Eddie
in a
Alvarez is the
long
king of the
time.
indies.
The king.
Is he really? Like,
He is
like
a
actually?
former UFC 1 Bellator and Strikeforce champion.
Oh,
I
I
think
think
he's
he meant he was an actual king. I was like,
No.
what?
No, he's the only person to hold a major championship in 4 different
Oh, wow.
organizations.
Damn, that's crazy.
Dude, Terrence McKinney, that's a name too.
Yeah.
Terrence McKinney's going to be on this list next year, I think.
He needs to fight soon.
Drew Dober's also up there. If he can string a win or 2 together, I think he'll be on this list. I'm a fan of Drew Dober.
Moises too.
And that's it for the lightweight division.
Good division. Very good division.
It's a tight division. I really like that 10 to 15 range.
Islam Makhachev, future champion.
Yeah, I think Makhachev versus Oliveira is going to be... That fight's going to happen in 2022, I firmly believe.
Mr. You should just beat
100%.
Because
I don't
Oliveira...
think Darius
Because I think
beats him.
Oliveira
Darush.
Gaethje... I think Oliveira Gaethje happens next, and I think Oliveira fucks up Justin Gaethje. I really do. I think that he's... Well, Justin Gaethje's style... The reason he got taken down by Khabib is because he's just going to start flailing overhands at some point, and he's going to get taken down. That's
well,
what Oliveira's
Oliveira's
going
the
to
type
do.
of dude that he's just gonna be like, all right, I'll swing.
Right, he'll box with him.
swing with you.
And then once it gets to round 3, we saw what Gaethje's capable of. Going 2 rounds, balls to the wall, and then round 3 being a slug.
Yeah.
Once that happens, Oliveira's going to take him down and fuck him up. It's going to be like the Poirier fight, except Gaethje's not even as good as Poirier on the ground. And then once that happens, and Makhachev beats Darush in March, I think it's Makhachev Oliveira, like right around when he fought Poirier, like right at the end of the year of 2022.
Yeah.
And that fight, I don't fucking know. You think Makhachev beats Oliveira?
Yeah.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
Call.
Yeah.
I would
do.
agree with that.
I think if Oliveira beats Makhachev, Khabib should come back and fight Oliveira.
Oh, baby. I need
I don't think
me
it's ever
some
gonna
more-
happen.
I
Khabib's
need
never gonna come
me
back.
Some more Khabib.
He's not coming back.
No,
Okay.
no way.
Featherweight division. MMA Completes Superlatives named the featherweight division the best division of 2021. So this division should have a lot in it. Real quick, a name that I don't have on my top 15 is my best prospect of 2021 of the UFC, Ilya Tuporia. You guys ever heard of Tuporia?
I think I have, yeah.
Tuporia is 3-0 in the UFC. He is, I want to say, 11-0. And he fought Ryan Hall in their last fight. You guys know who Ryan Hall is?
Yeah, I know.
Ryan Hall is the Ultimate Fighter winner and one of the craziest jiu-jitsu practitioners ever. Like, he just dives for ankles and does crazy shit on the ground.
Yeah.
Tuporia not only stayed on the ground with Ryan Hall, but as soon as they got back up, he blasted him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went to the ground, and Tuporia was trying all this different shit, and Tuporia just TKO'd the shit out of him. It was super impressive to see him not only handle himself on the ground, but then finish it on the ground. And then when you count the fact that this dude is literally 23. He's younger than us.
Jesus Christ.
Well, not you, Colby,
Not
but
me.
he's younger than us.
Still got hope.
Still got his youth.
He is... I gotta shout him out because he didn't make my top 15 because this division is so fucking stacked. But he would make any other division's top 15. That's how pound for pound good this kid is.
Yeah.
Anyway, top 15. The top 4 is set in stone. I really think that there's nothing you can change about this.
Wrong.
Alexander Volkanovski's number 1.
No,
Max
man,
Holloway
mess
number
with
2.
you.
Brian Ortega number 3. Yeah. Excuse me. I had to burp.
Wow.
Yair Rodriguez number
I
4.
thought you were gonna yell at Austin for something.
That is
Go
pretty
Mitch
set in
Sharapov.
stone. I think yeah. He loves that name. Yair Rodriguez is
It's
for
my
me
head
a
coach's
bit
name in
a
Madden.
bit overrated.
Who's overrated? Sorry.
Yair Rodriguez is a bit overrated.
I agree with
I thought that going into the fight against Holloway, but then he fucking held his own against Max Holloway
Yeah, Rodriguez.
in a way that only Alexander Volkanovski's been able to do for the last 3 years. He got fucked up. He got beat fair and square, 100%. And we're gonna see Holloway Volkanovski 3 this year.
Might get a
That's
haircut
gonna
soon.
happen soon.
Might get a haircut soon.
Okay. And then after that,
So messing up the flow, man.
so Zabit Magomed Sharapov has not fought since 2019, the end of 2019. His last win was against, I want to say, it was against Calvin Kattar, who is number 5.
I would.
He also beat Jeremy Stevens and he beat Phil Davis. So
Wait, why
and
is
he
he
beat
so
Mon-
low in the UFC?
Yeah, UFC
because he hasn't fought in 2 years. They just took him off the rankings.
Yeah. But
So as soon as he fights again, he's going to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Like he's going to get a
I
Leon Edwards
might
treatment.
put him above Rodriguez, honestly.
I could put him above Yair Rodriguez. The only reason I haven't is because Yair Rodriguez had that fight against Holloway. Like I think before the Holloway fight, I had Magomed Sharapov above him, but then Rodriguez impressed me against Holloway. I really could put him above Rodriguez. It's pretty close. I just gave it to Rodriguez because he's been more active.
Volkanovski kind of owns this division, dude, if you kind of look at it. But
It's Volkanovski.
Chikadze coming up is going to be interesting because he could just blow right past all these fucks. But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Just a prediction.
After top 5, I got Calvin Kattar and Chan Sung Jung. I'm not a big fan of Chan Sung Jung.
Neither am I.
He's had a
Korean
couple losses
zombie?
lately.
Yeah.
Korean Zombie, yeah. And his wins aren't really.
He's on the
that of
downward
note.
trend.
He really is.
Yeah.
in the downward
No,
trend.
for sure.
But his losses are against Ortega and Rodriguez. That has to have some respect to
It's
it.
like a stock.
You and your stocks around.
Kind of like my stuff.
His Twitter name is like
I know. I've
Austin
seen
Garfield.
it.
You only lose if you sell.
Yes, sir.
All right, so number 8 is the future featherweight champion.
Whoa.
I don't know if it's gonna happen this year or 2022. I think that Volkanovski's gonna hold that title for another year or two. I really do because I think he beats Holloway again.
Yeah.
But Giga Chikadze is one of
Chicken
the
D's, as I call him.
one of the most polarizing fighters in the UFC.
Striking
You'll love him or you
wise,
hate him.
kickboxing
He is-
wise.
The only fighter I've seen win a fight by a liver kick. In UFC
that's
history.
My favorite.
And he's
I
done it a
love
couple
body
He
times.
liver kicked
KOs.
Cub Swanson. Who
Yeah.
Cub Swanson's a tough motherfucker.
He's done it a couple times.
Giga Chikadze, who is number 9. Yeah, number 9 for UFC, number 8 for me. I could have put him above Chan Sung Jung. I don't know why I didn't looking at it now. I think I want to. I think I'm going to put Chan Sung Jung underneath.
Well, little
Giga Chikadze.
modification.
Only the second one of the show so far.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
After that, we got Josh Emmett, who just had a good win against Dan Ige. But I thought Ige won the fight. I really did.
Did you?
And then Josh Emmett won 29-28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's close for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bacon con, yeah.
Arnold Allen
What
after
is happening?
Josh Emmett, and then Dan Ige finishes
I'm
up
high.
the top 11. You can say you're high. That's fine.
Oh, okay. I'm
Dan
high as
Ige,
fuck.
number 10. What is he? Number 10 for UFC, number 11 for me. I'm a big fan of Dan Ige.
I'm
He came
tired.
back after a couple years to fight Josh Emmett.
Crying.
Josh Emmett also made his comeback.
Yeah.
I think Ige's going to have a good year next year if he can have good fights. Like I think the ref kind of fucked him up in the last fight against Emmett. I think he should have won it. But if he can get a good fight against a top 15er, not a number 8, to build himself back up, I think that Dan Ige is gonna have a resurgence.
Yeah.
Next on my list, I got Bryce Mitchell. Does that get you at all? Are you back on track?
I like Bryce Mitchell.
I know you do. Bryce Mitchell is one of the best wrestlers in this division, and he's coming back after breaking his hand. His next fight is against
This
Edson
guy
Barboza.
just to pierce you. He just
Yeah.
likes to bring shit back up. This guy over here, shit that bothers you.
What?
The fuck?
What do you mean?
Bryce Mitchell,
Elaborate.
bro.
What do
Let
you
me get. All right,
mean?
Bryce Mitchell could have won me.
Halfway through the conversation.
Bryce
so
Mitchell.
Start over. Yeah.
Could have won me 10 racks,
Ah.
but he broke
Oh,
his
that's
goddamn.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, he broke his goddamn hand, dude. In the first round, he couldn't grasp the guy's wrist to bring it into the armbar. Like, he had it, and he just couldn't do it.
That's tough.
For 2 rounds of agony,
That is tough.
he couldn't do it. Sucked.
Kid at work. Side note. Placed a $12 bet on a 10-team parlay and won $10K this weekend.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that
That's-
should have been
that's the
me, bro.
dream. That's the dream.
Yep.
Except this guy, Bryce Mitchell, goddamn camo pants. Let me wear the camo pants. I need to wear the camo pants or I can't do it. Nah, bro, you couldn't do it even if you did have it. You didn't have them. Yeah.
Should have been Arctic Camo.
Goddamn fool.
Red Tiger.
Hey, shout out Bryce Mitchell,
Blue
dude.
Tiger.
I hope you're doing
Blue
better,
Tiger.
but
Ball.
Nah, you stick
Bruh.
with the Tigers.
10 racks, dude, gone in a blink of an eye. Me and Mark, not just me.
All right, finishing out the top
Shout out
15.
Mark.
Edson,
Mark.
yeah, shout out
Feeling
Mark.
better.
Yep, he's
Mark.
he's been sick as shit. Says he's waiting to die, so we hope he's feeling better.
That kid's been sick for like 3 months. I don't understand.
He ain't
Really is.
sick, dude. He was
He's
drinking the
sick.
other night.
Yeah.
He's
Uh,
Mindy.
Number 13, Mavsar Evlov, who will be fighting Ilya Tuporia. That's a battle
Whoa.
of undefeated guys. That's really
Yeah.
going to be a good fight. I think Tuporia takes it though.
Is that a fight night or is that?
I think it's a fight night. No, it's on a pay per view actually.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's like a good fight to have on
Fuck Bryce Mitchell.
paper.
Isn't it?
Fuck you.
I swear to God, it's on
No,
a
when
pay-per-view.
that go?
Isn't it on 270? Oh, it is. UFC 270.
Ah.
Evlov versus Tuporia.
Sick. Oh, it's the Coco man.
The Coco main.
Coco?
The Coco
Cocaine
man.
Coco.
The cocaine
After
man.
Bryce Mitchell, we got Edson Barboza,
Hot Coco?
Mavsar Evlov, and Shane Burgos is the number 15.
Shane
Coco the movie? You ever seen that?
Shane
Coco
Burgos
the
is
bear.
my guy.
Yeah.
Big on
Shane
Shane
Burgos.
Burgos. Shane Burgos was the only sweat we had of our best bet of 2021.
Like you, Shane Burgos. Like you. Let me
So
kiss
that's it for the featherweight division. Like we said, the best division
Let me
in the
kiss you right on
UFC
your
for
forehead,
2021. Super stacked. You could literally like 22 people. I want to say I have ranked.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have way more. But I think it was down to Alex Caceres, who is the number 20. So all 20 of those guys have a shot at top 15. That's how deep this division is. I think it's going to slow down a little bit in 2022. Here's the reason. I think Volkanovski only has 1 fight against Holloway. I think Ortega has to go on the downtrend because he has to fight guys that are ranked like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Giga Chikadze and a possible comeback from Magomed Sharapov are the only reasons that this division will stay lively, I think. Bryce Mitchell could have a good comeback. Dan Ige might have some better fights. And then Ilya Tuporia probably will make it the top 10.
Josh Emmett, dude.
I'm not a big believer of Josh.
I'm not either, but I fought that one straight through.
All right, 2 more divisions and then pound for pound. We got this. We got like 20 more minutes. Okay. Bantamweight division is the only ranking that I have the champion at number 2. Fair?
Yeah, in
Fair,
my opinion,
fair.
This is the best. Division.
I was really, and I wanted bantamweight. And when we did the superlatives, he wanted featherweight, convinced me featherweight. So I feel you, bantamweight is definitely the top 2 division in the sport. I
Hey,
Everyone's looking at me? Hell yeah.
I really believe
Fuck yeah.
that Jose Aldo should be above Aljamain Sterling on this list.
Jose Aldo.
I have Aldo at 3. The UFC has him at 4. I could put him at 2.
Future champ.
I'm not a believer in Aljamain Sterling.
Future champ.
No one
me
is.
neither. He's a fake
Fucking
champion.
No one.
Well,
He's a
Jose
paper
Aldo.
champ. He's the only champ in history to win by disqualification. Now, he does have good wins, okay?
Yeah,
He
does.
beat
I'm
Pedro
looking at this,
Munoz,
I didn't
and he
realize.
beat Corey
I did
Sandhagen.
not know he beat Corey Sandhagen. That's impressive.
He knocked out Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's a really great win, Sterling.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, Jose Aldo has been so on fire lately. He's
Yeah.
been so good lately.
So good.
Yeah, come back. Seriously.
The second resurgence, man.
so
And he's
good.
like 37 years old. He's in a division lower than the division that he used to rule.
Is he 37?
Yeah, something like
old.
that.
I thought he was. I
He
thought
might be.
was
He
young. I
might
thought he was
actually be a
younger.
little younger because
He's
when he
young.
was featherweight champ, he was only like
He might be
25.
34.
Yeah, he might be like 34.
32.
After that, we got the TJ Dillashaw, who only had one fight in 2021.
I
The
fucking
CEO of EPO is back, and he's top
Fucking-
4.
love TJ Dillashaw.
Dillashaw, I think, fights Jose Aldo
Yeah.
next. I
That's
think.
such a hard fight for me.
Well,
to
TJ
look for.
Dillashaw fucked up his leg, and he had to have surgery, so he's going to be out for a while. But Jose Aldo just fought, so if we can wait like another 3-4 months, I think Aldo versus Dillashaw is the fight to make. I think that is such a great fucking fight, and I think Dillashaw wins
Someone that I want to win.
because I think
It makes me
Dillashaw's
sad.
faster and he's better at wrestling.
Yeah,
I think Dillashaw wins.
yeah, probably.
But for now, Dillashaw's only had one win in the last like 3 years, so I got to give Aldo.
Was he
the edge.
suspended or was he?
Yeah, he was suspended for 2 years.
That's egregious considering what John Jones
Yeah.
has been given.
Which is nothing.
Right.
John
Well-
Jones has privilege.
That guy is fucked.
Well, Dillashaw, he got caught doping the second time, and he got caught doping with a actual substance that improves fighting. Like the only thing
fuck
John
that.
Jones ever got caught with is cocaine.
And he caught his girlfriend.
Well, the only doping violation is from cocaine. Strictly
He did
speaking,
that,
from a
yeah.
legal standpoint, the only thing he got caught doping with was cocaine. TJ Dillashaw got caught doping with something that makes you not feel pain.
Oh, that's
Fuck
pretty
yeah.
crazy.
Okay, that's like that's and the thing is the fight that he got caught doping with, he got knocked out.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Right,
That's like
right,
that's like
exactly.
Deflategate.
Exactly.
Tom Brady got caught and then he switched to good balls and then he fucking put up 24 points.
It's a pretty good comparison because it really didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
But you do the crime, you got to do the time.
I guess. Yeah.
I'm not talking
He
Tom
didn't
Brady. there.
deflate
No,
the
no, I'm not
ball.
talking. I'm talking about
There we
TJ
go.
Dillashaw.
He didn't.
Yeah, we're not getting into
I
it.
shouldn't say anything.
Dude, we're trying to get through this
deflate
podcast.
him.
We're trying to get through. it.
That's all.
No, but for TJ Dillashaw, you take the pills, you got caught, you got to serve your suspension. He did,
Tom
and he came
Brady-
back and he beat Corey Sandhagen.
No, you can't get away with that.
And Hillary Clinton, no wizard.
Tom Brady-
Let's keep going.
We
do
all
the
agree
crime,
with you.
You
We all
do the
agree
crime,
with
you
you.
do the time.
We all
You know,
agree with
you know, Peyton Manning, you know, he couldn't do the crime and do the time because that motherfucker retired. He did steroids in the Super Bowl.
Did he?
Shot him in his ankle and his foot. Yeah.
I-
No one talks about that though, but we'll talk about deflating 0.1 PSI in Tom Brady's balls. Continue.
Thank you. So coming up next, after TJ Dillashaw, we got Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah.
Sandhagen, who is the only fighter that I can recall that had 2 losses and still almost made Fighter of the Year.
Yeah.
He had a Knockout of the Year candidate
losses.
in one of the, I think it was the number 2 Knockout of the Year against Frankie Edgar, a flying knee.
Yeah.
And then he had a war with TJ Dillashaw. A war,
Yep.
which Dillashaw won by split decision.
And Dillashaw
Dillashaw's
fought
been in
his
a
way.
lot of wars. Huh?
And then he had a fight against Piotr Jan that I thought Sandhagen won. I thought he took the first 3 rounds. So those two fights are one of the best back-to-back losses you will see in UFC.
All right, but all right, we need to talk about this. Do winning championship rounds? Is that more points than winning regular rounds?
I don't think.
And
When you're the
Honestly,
champion?
here's the thing I would say about that.
Because look at what happened to
Maybe-
John Jones.
It maybe should.
Here's
but-
the right. You would definitely have a point of contest about it because the championship rounds decide like if the fight were to go 10 rounds, whoever wins rounds 4 and
10
5.
rounds?
Bear with me.
I
Just
know,
listen.
no, I'm just saying, that's a
If
lot.
you win rounds 4 and
Dark
5,
Blue
you're
Swan.
probably
That's a lot of rounds.
you're probably gonna win the fight if it were to just keep going endlessly.
50 minutes?
But if you only win rounds 4 and 5, that means you didn't win the first 3. So if you only win 2 and you lost 3 rounds, then yeah, I do think that you should lose the fight, no matter if they are championship rounds.
Yeah.
So if you're going by the UFC ranking, the UFC rules, sure. I think that just winning rounds 4 and 5, like Petr Yan did, arguably won round 3. Like John Jones did against Dominic Reyes is another great example.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should not count. Now, if you're John Jones, you get some leeway because someone has to fucking beat you to actually beat you, and that's why Dominic Reyes didn't win that fight, which I really think he should have. But I think the same thing happened with Petr Yan.
I don't want to get off track, but I think
That's fair.
Now let's get off
All
track.
right, after Corey Sandhagen, this is my guy of the division, my dark horse, possible
Katie
championship
Perry,
contender,
Dark Horse.
Mirab Walashvili. Walashvili,
Juicy J.
who
It's a
had
J.
one of the fights of the year this year against Marlon Moraes, got knocked down,
Physically.
almost knocked out, and he came back to beat Marlon Moraes. Mirab Walashvili is the best wrestler in this division. He's on a 6-fight win streak.
Yeah.
He's beaten Casey Kenny, Josh Dodson, Corey Stammen, and Marlon Moraes. That's a really good win streak. Marlon Moraes, the only top 10er, though. So you got to put him against another top 5. I think Mirab Walashvili versus Dominic Cruz is a really great fight.
Dominic Cruz is going to get his ass beat. Let me just tell you that right now.
I have Dominic Cruz ranked a lot lower than the UFC does.
Yeah.
We're going to
Dominic
get to that,
Cruz
by the
would
way.
get his ass beat.
Up next, I got Rob Font. Rob Font only has beaten Cody Garbrandt in the last 2 years. That says a lot, seeing that what just happened to Cody Garbrandt. I do think that, Cody Garbrandt's still a great fighter. I think Cara France was just in way better place to win that fight. I think Cara France was severely underrated before that fight. I don't think he is anymore, rightfully so.
Yeah.
So Cody Garbrandt is still a good win, but Rob Font, the loss to Marlon Moraes hurt him.
Wow.
The loss to Jose Aldo is respectable, but now you need to go out and you need to win. Or if you don't, I can see him going from number 5 to number 12. He really could have a drop in 2022.
Wow, you got Cruz. Wow.
After that, Marlon Moraes.
I would put Munoz even above Cruz, honestly.
Marlon Moraes has a pretty great loss record. His last 5 fights are all against guys that are top 5, top 6 possible ranked. I know Cejudo isn't fighting anymore, but his fifth to last fight was against Cejudo, who is obviously a top 5 contender if he were to ever come back. And he beat Jose Aldo. So those 5 fights are really impressive.
Who's
Now-
Yadong?
Song Yadong.
Dude,
I don't
he's
think.
my sleeper pick.
Yeah, Song
like
Yadong is the best prospect in the
Yadong.
division.
I'm on the dong train.
You're on the dong train?
I'm on the dong train.
Yo, we should make a t-shirt.
The dong train.
Yadong.
I like Yadong.
The
I
dong.
like that.
Yeah.
Number 9, Marlon Vera. Cheeto
Cheeto
Vera.
Fuck Cheeto Vera.
What do we think about Cheeto Vera at number 9?
Cheeto Bear, more like spicy Cheeto Bear.
Good one.
He needs to fight Rob Font, dude.
More
That would be a
like-
good fight.
Get Sean O'Malley to actually beat him this time.
Sean O'Malley is gonna
Right.
get his ass kicked.
Marlon Vera versus Sean O'Malley needs to happen again. I don't know, man. I think O'Malley beats him. I really think O'Malley beats him.
I think O'Malley
I think
beats him.
O'Malley gets put in his
And I
faces,
think
you
Dana
know?
White, the higher that he can rank Vera, the better it makes Sean O'Malley look.
Exactly.
So,
I think
and the better that fight
The
is.
only thing
that
is,
fight sells.
Sean O'Malley,
That fight could be a
if
future
he
pay-per-view.
is not able to check leg kicks, he doesn't beat Marlon Vera. Because we saw in this last fight against Holly and Paiva at UFC 269, Paiva had some leg kicks that stumbled O'Malley early.
Yeah.
Made him switch his stance. And that's what Vera did, and that's how he beat O'Malley, because he fucked up the nerve in O'Malley's leg, and O'Malley was done after 2 minutes. So and O'Malley has the skinny legs. He does. He's a really
Skinny
tall
legs.
guy, skinny legs, like that shit. The less muscle you have on your calf, your upper calf, the worse those leg kicks are going to
Was
be.
he 5'11"?
Yeah, he's 5'11", 145.
It's like you.
Sean O'Malley's chilling with.
And Sean O'Malley is number 14 on the list. Frankie Edgar finishes number 15. I do have Cody Garbrandt ranked at number 12. I know he's flyweight, but he hasn't made the flyweight rankings. He's still on the bantamweight rankings. I'm going to give him number 12 because Cody Garbrandt is still... He's one of the best strikers, one of the best boxers in the division. And his losses are pretty damn good, if I have to say so. Like, Cara France, Rob Font, Pedro Munoz, TJ Dillashaw.
No, for sure. He's had good losses.
It's really great losses. And he's still young, dude. He's like 30.
Really?
Yeah, he has a long career ahead of him. If he stays at flyweight, who knows? I think he lost his power, and I think his chin dramatically dropped when he dropped down to flyweight. I think that's what usually happens when you drop division. So I think he should stay in bantamweight, but if he wants to make a run at flyweight, we'll see in 2022.
Yeah.
10, 11. Okay. I'm just checking to see if O'Malley's ranked yet.
Oh, yeah, O'Malley is number 13.
Yeah.
He's number 12 contender for the UFC's list. Number 13 for me. And that's it for the bantamweight division.
Yeah.
One of the best divisions in the sport. I think it's only going to keep progressing. I think there's a lot of fucking prospects in this division. You got Adrian Yanez.
Also a lot of
You got
vets still kicking
Saeed Nurmagomedov. You got Kyler Phillips.
What's his
Adrian
relation
Yanez,
to,
Casey Kenny.
Khabib?
Holly Paiva is going to be good. Raoni Barcelos is up there. Both Nurmagomedov brothers. Those are
What are their relations?
Saeed Nurmagomedov is Khabib's cousin.
Okay.
Umar is his younger brother.
Oh, no shit.
Mhm.
Umar.
All right, last division. We're not going to make the women's divisions this podcast. We're going to get to it next podcast. That'll be for next podcast. Do you guys want to do another hour?
No.
Okay.
I want to get beers. And
Yeah, I want to go get a beer. All right. We're going to fly through this division because, to be honest with you, and my apologies, the flyweight division is the division I know the least about. I just, I know these names, and I have their last couple
Your
fights
list
on here.
is pretty close to the UFC list.
It is very
For the
close.
most part.
I have Kai Kara-France higher. Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo, Askar Askarov, and Alexandra Pantoja are the top 4. I think that is a pretty good list. I think that is solid. The only thing I would say is that Pantoja could be below Kara-France on my list, but that's probably just because of the recency factor. Kara-France just knocked out Cody Garbrandt, and that's a big win.
Yeah.
I do have Kara-France at 5, and then I have Alex Perez. Alex Perez is going to be fighting Matt Schnell soon, and that's going to be a big fight in the flyweight division. Matt Schnell
Sounds like a
currently
bitch.
for the UFC ranked at number 10. I have him at number 9. He's one of the quickest flyweights, and that's saying something.
Jeez.
He's like Dominic Cruz back in the day. Dominic Cruz when he was just fucking skipping around the octagon. Rogerio Bontorin stayed at number 8 for me. I'm a big fan of Bontorin. He got knocked out by Kara-France, but now it's looking like Kara-France is knocking a lot of people out, so that loss is looking even better for him. I think he has a big 2022.
Yeah.
So we mentioned this already, but Kai Kara-France versus Askar Askarov, co-main event for the March 26th card, which is the Makhachev Darush card. That's a great fight. Askarov versus Kara-France is really great. Askarov 13-0, Kara-France on a big win streak. Not like a long win streak, but beating Rogerio Bontorin and Cody Garbrandt is a good win streak. That's going to decide the next number 1 contender after Figueiredo Moreno 3. Finishing out the list, Manel Kape. Manel Kape is number 14 on the UFC's list. He's number 11 on mine. I think that this dude he's only 22 years old, and he has knocked out 2 people already. Knocked out Zumagulov and Gordon. He's another name to look out for in 2022. I think he's only going to get better. I think that he's going to have a loss in there at some point because he's so young, but I think that he's going to keep getting better. And then number 15 finishes off with... Shit, I always forget how to say this guy's name. Sumaiderji? Sumaiderji? I think it's Sumaiderji. The only one-name guy in UFC. I just thought that was cool. Sumaiderji. That's his name. He's Brazilian. So that's his last name. Did you know Neymar is Neymar's last name?
All right.
Yeah. His first name's like Bruno da Silva, Pedro Almales, Neymar.
Okay, Albus Dumbledore.
Right, exactly.
Portuguese Elvis Dumbledore.
All right, that's going to do it for flyweight division. Got through that quick. Sorry we didn't put as much attention into it as we probably could have, but we have 15 minutes for the 2-hour show. We made this perfectly in time. I want your guys' help with this, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to look at this a little bit. When we get back, our own pound-for-pound rankings. This is the real list that matters. So we'll be right back with the pound for pound.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I want a cigarette.
Thanks for everybody for tuning in for the end of the year special. Make sure you check us out on our Twitter @complete_MMA. Go check out our bio where I already shouted out a bunch of people that helped us with this list. MMA Betting Advisors, Slip the Jab Podcast. I'm forgetting their name and I'm going to be pissed. The MMA Media and Against the Fence. Their bios are all in the description. Go check them out. They were huge and we're going to be trying to collab with them and do bigger things in 2022. So here's our list for the pound for pound rankings. Our own pound for pound rankings of the UFC. So I'm going to try to get this out of here because we didn't talk about the women's divisions. We're going to use that next time. All right. Usman's number one, right? We can agree with that. Usman is number one. Volkanovski is number two?
I object with Volkanovski.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Who's your number two?
Adesanya.
Adesanya lost to Vukovic.
John Jones.
Yeah, because
Well,
Vukovic was 800 pounds heavier than him.
Double division.
John Jones is still on here?
Yeah, I get John Jones.
What is he
out
on
here.
here?
I'm sick of seeing that guy's fucking name.
The guy isn't fought. The guy's like GSP. He's retired.
He hasn't
You don't
fought.
put GSP
He
on the
hasn't
list?
fought in just over a year. He hasn't fought in just over a year.
Fuck that guy. Who did he fight?
His last fight was Dominic Reyes.
That was longer than a year.
That was longer than a year.
I thought Dominic Reyes won that
2
fight,
years.
too.
That too.
It
He
was
only should've
December of 2020.
Paper champ.
It was December of 2020.
I'm sick of
Just
seeing
over
John
a year.
Jones' fucking name. I never want to hear
Look,
it.
I understand.
Pound for pound, John Jones is the greatest of all time.
No.
So why are you guys upset that he's... All right, the UFC has him at number 6. Would you feel better if I put him at my number 6?
I'd feel better if you took him off the list.
The UFC didn't take
I
him off
feel-
the list. I can't take him off the
I
list.
feel really
just
good.
rather
Yeah,
not
well,
see his-
yeah, you can.
I could, but it wouldn't have as much integrity.
Okay. Okay.
He's just such like a.
Now, I know saying John Jones and integrity is in the same sentence is kind of stretching it.
It's
I
just
get
pound
that.
for pound.
It's fine. This is pound for pound.
Right now.
I have a lot of discrepancies on this list.
All right, well, let me name
Bless
him off
me.
the list.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Let me name him, and then you can give me your discrepancies.
Okay.
Bless you,
1
Mike.
Usman, 2 Volkanovski, 3 John Jones, 4 Adesanya, 5 Ngannou, 6 Piotr Jan, 7 Charles Oliveira, 8 Max Holloway, 9 Glover Teixeira, 10 Brandon Moreno, 11 Stipe Miocic, 12 Dustin Poirier, 13 Robert Whittaker, 14 Davison Figueiredo,
You got
15
the
Cyril
nerve.
Gane.
You-
Number 16, I have Aljamain Sterling, the only champ outside of the 15. I just wanted to say that. So
Bro,
that's my
you
top 15.
Put Jan
Give me a-
above Oliveira.
All right.
Yes, I did.
So I
That doesn't make
okay,
sense.
so my top 5 would be Usman, Adesanya, Volkanovski, Ngannou, Oliveira.
Usman.
I think I like that.
Usman.
I think Oliveira's too low. I think Moreno's
I think
too low.
Adesanya's too low.
Usman,
Adesanya's
Adesanya,
I think Holloway's a little bit too high.
Ngannou, Oliveira, then Jones.
I think you guys are not giving enough love to Volkanovski. Listen, I can appreciate that Adesanya
said
is the
3.
king of
I
the
said
middleweights. I know, even 3's not giving him respect. He should be number 2 with a bullet. He should easily be number 2. I think that.
the sounds of disbelief at you right now.
I'm in disbelief too.
His last 5 fights. Look at his last 5 fights.
Bro.
Ortega, Holloway, Jose Aldo, and Chad Mendez.
How
That's
many-
a really great.
How many fights has
last
he had in
5.
2 years?
In 2 years?
2.
4.
Alright, he's had 1 fight this year. 1 fight.
No, he had 2 fights.
I
He beat
didn't
Max Holloway the
realize-
second time this year.
I didn't realize he fought Holloway twice.
But we just had this conversation when we were doing the rankings. Like, bro, he's had 1 fight. He's had 1 fight all year, and that's why we kept him out.
I can appreciate the Adesanya going above Volkanovski. I hear you guys' side. If you really want to say that, you totally can. But for this list, Volkanovski's definitely number 2. Adesanya lost. Volkanovski's not lost in the UFC.
Yeah, but you have John Jones there, who hasn't won. in
John
the
Jones
UFC in
hasn't
2
lost.
Years.
John
He hasn't won either.
No, he hasn't won he hasn't won in 12 and a half months.
At all.
12 and a half months. That's not that long of a layoff period as a lot of people think.
Yeah, no, he's just been beating his wife
All right.
in his time
Why
off.
do you have Oliveira so low?
I think so if Oliveira's low, you gotta look above him. Piotr Jan
Jan?
is the one I can see the exception of having Oliveira above Jan.
Well,
But Piotr Jan is just
Protection. You have
In my eyes, Piotr Jan is more dominant than any other bantamweight. Then Charles Oliveira is more dominant than any other lightweight. That's what I would
Bro,
say.
I would put Poirier above Holloway.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy.
I think,
How
I don't know about
crazy?
that.
I don't know about that.
but I think
How is
Holloway
it
is too
crazy?
high.
You think Holloway's too high?
Yeah, I think
UFC had
Moreno-
Holloway at 8.
That's
I have him
crazy.
at 9.
Who
I would have
wins?
Moreno
Who
higher.
wins? Poirier or Holloway?
Poirier beat Holloway 3 years ago.
That's what I'm getting
Huh.
at.
But
though.
since then, look at what Holloway's been
Hey,
doing.
this guy's on to something.
It's because he's high.
It's fair. No, it's fair. But at the same time,
Yeah.
look at what Holloway's done since then.
Hot take incoming.
Maybe because he knows he can't.
Serial gone.
Serial killer.
I
dog.
put Gon above
gonna be
Poirier
Ngannou.
too.
I could put Cyril Gane
I put
higher.
Gon
I just
above
don't
Holloway.
love Cyril Gane.
I would put Gone between.
And I would
Miocic
not
and Poirier.
put Gon above Teixeira or Moreno. I would not do that either.
No.
No.
No,
No,
I wouldn't do that.
definitely not.
I don't know why Holloway is above Teixeira and Moreno.
Look at Holloway's last 2 fights.
Divisional.
He should have beaten
He's
Volkanovski
not
the
the
second
champion.
time. Okay.
I like Holloway
Because you're the
too.
champion means that you have to be above everybody else.
I'm a huge
You-
supporter of Max Holloway.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's
But it's a
pretty
pound
good
for
argument.
pound list. Who is the best at their own division is what this list encompasses.
All right, I will take the heavyweight champ, or not the heavyweight, the light heavyweight champ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is better than him. Now you can make a better argument that he's better than Moreno.
Who are you saying? Holloway?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can make an argument that he's better than Moreno
I
because
could
he's
definitely
a
make that argument, yeah.
yeah. You can make that argument because he's a division below.
It's 2
That's
divisions,
why.
Right.
That's what I mean. You think he's a smaller guy, but this guy, dude, he didn't have. No one thought he had a chance to beat Figueiredo. Not a chance. No way, no how. And he's a fucking champion. And he beat him again.
On that same note, I think Figueiredo is. Wait, Figueiredo's not even on the UFC rankings, huh?
No, he's not on the ranks.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
That's crazy.
That's a good call. But yeah, I wouldn't put Holloway above Moreno. Not when Moreno he had to prove himself.
Yeah.
They draw. He got absolutely his nuts got obliterated, dude. His nuts got kicked in.
Yeah, he
like,
did.
Accurate. States.
Dude was talking 3 octaves higher for like another month.
But that's all. I would just change where Jan and a Holloway are.
Yeah, man, he caught me with a really good low kick.
It was that's all. I like the list though. I wouldn't really change anything else.
Wait, does the UFC not have
I definitely move John
Sterling
Jones lower.
on their
No, Sterling is not on the UFC's pound for pound rankings.
bad luck?
Whitaker, Miocic. Yeah. I like
It's
where
not
Miocic.
terrible.
Miocic is a good rank.
I
like
think
his
yours is
rank.
better than the UFC's.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yours is definitely better.
I agree.
Yours is better than the UFC's, but the UFC has John Jones where it should,
Yes.
and
I think-
they have Holloway ranked
higher.
than you, and I think you have Holloway ranked higher
Yeah,
than he should.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's
So-
the thing that's crazy.
I think the UFC has that way off.
I think the only thing that UFC has on you, in my opinion, is
The Whitaker, good.
Oliveira and Jones. I think those are.
Yeah, you don't have
Good
Blackowitz on
positions.
yours either, which is
I
interesting.
do not have Blackowitz
I would
on
put
mine.
Blackowitz above.
You'd put him above Cyril Gane,
I put him above Makachev. I put him
but
above.
he's still not in the top 15.
I
I'm
put
just
him-
looking at the top
I know.
15.
I put him
yeah.
above Ortega too, and Gaethje and Sterling.
I think Gaethje could sneak in there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not with. Yeah, it's like.
Sterling
It's
is
so-
such
so
a
good.
fluke,
Such a good
even though
top
he's the
15.
champ. He's like, he's.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable not having Sterling on my top 15.
Yeah, neither does the UFC. so.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, 2 more minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Any more takes about the whole thing? Any divisions? What do you got? Anything? We got 2 more minutes for 2021. What do you got to say?
I'm saying it now.
Hot takes for
Hot
2022.
take, at the end of 2022, Cyril Gane will be heavyweight champion, and Conor McGregor.
Boo.
Conor McGregor will be on a 2-fight winning streak.
That's a good
Conor
take.
McGregor.
Conor McGregor 2-fight win streak at the end of 2022.
At the end of
Conor
2022.
Now, do you think
McGregor-
he goes 2-0, or do you think like he
2-0.
loses?
Yeah, I think he goes
Okay.
2-0.
He beats Nate Diaz, and,
and then he
who?
beats.
I'm gonna
That
give a
would be-
really hot take. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give a stupid hot
I
take.
might agree with this because I was gonna have a hot take too.
Oh, you guys are not gonna like this.
Let me hear it.
I think by the end of 2022, the heavyweight champion of the world is John Jones.
That's not a hot
That's
take.
what I think.
That's not a hot take.
No? Is it not?
No. I'm glad this is in recording so we can go back to this and laugh at you about how stupid that take is.
Okay.
No, he's right.
That's fine.
He's right.
He's right.
He's right. I hope
This
it's
is
John,
why this
but
guy
he's right.
has John Jones ranked number 3.
Oh, I'm a stupid John Jones homer. I
He's right.
completely know that. Outside of the octagon, yeah, he's fucked up. He has some demons. Inside the octagon, he's the best ever. He is the best ever. And he's going to fucking heavyweight. How can you not be excited about that shit?
I have to watch some John Jones fights. It's been too long.
Any other hot takes?
I bet Israel Adesanya fucks the hottest girls.
That's a good.
Yeah, that's.
No,
I don't think that's
good
a hot take
yeah,
though.
That's a good take.
Thank you.
I think at the end of 2022, Khamzat Chimaev's top 10 pound for pound ranking. I don't think Chimaev fights Usman in 2022. I think that's 2023.
Nah, I would agree with that. Long year though. A year's a long time. How many times did Usman fight this year? 3 or 4?
3-0. Beat Masvidal.
Dude.
He beat Burns, Masvidal, and Covington.
Dude.
All top.
No, I don't know. They could fight this year.
Who?
Usman and
Chimaev.
Khamzat.
I think. Well, if it was up to Chimaev, he'd fight like 6 times. But I think Usman's only gonna fight twice
Probably.
because he just fought. I think he's gonna fight somewhere in April. I think he's gonna fight somewhere in like September. I think the next fight that Usman has is Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards gets a shot, and if it's not Edwards, it's Vicente Luque.
Really? You wouldn't even have him fight
I think Luque's up there. Yeah.
Machaev yet?
Makachev is lightweight, not welterweight.
Okay, who's the oh,
Dagestani, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
There is none.
there isn't.
No, welterweight rankings. You got
Oh,
Covington,
shit.
Burns, Edwards,
Wow, okay.
Luque, Bilal Muhammad. I think Khamzat Chimaev fights Bilal Muhammad, and then I think he fights Colby too. And I think he beats both of them. And I think he ends the year the number 1 ranked contender and in top 10 pound for pound.
Probably.
That's not really a hot take. I think that's probably that's a pretty good guess. Austin, hot take for 2022? Come back to you. Mike?
Makachev.
Yep.
This guy.
Go.
Makachev champion.
Okay.
Whoa.
Take. He wins.
Yeah.
That's
There you
it.
All right.
That's my hot take. He beats Oliveira.
Mike?
Sean O'Malley falls off.
Woo!
Is there a stat for the most champion changes
It's kind of
in a single year?
disrespectful, Mike.
I don't think so. There wasn't a lot of championship changes this year,
I
I'll tell
think
you.
there's going to be a lot of champion changes this year.
Okay, that's a good one. I think there's a lot of prospects coming up soon.
I have another one.
Okay.
A lot of.
I have
Indies.
another one too.
Alex Pereira, middleweight champion.
In
No,
this year.
2023.
You're
Sorry, you're
2024,
right.
dude.
2023.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
Sorry,
I
sorry.
do like that though.
Maybe top 15.
You think
this year.
Pereira cracks the top 10 in
Oh,
2022
yeah.
then?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Here's my other hot take. I think actually it's not a hot take. I just think by the end of 2022, Amanda Nunes will be the best woman in the world again.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that one. We didn't even talk about women. I wasn't even thinking about that.
People are probably going to be doubting her. I think that
No,
Amanda
I
Nunes
think that was a
beats
fluke.
Juliana Pena, and then I think she beats Shevchenko again.
I think that was a fluke.
I also think that Rose
loss.
Namajunas drops her championship.
I do
next year.
too.
I think she
That's
loses.
a good one too.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that next podcast because we're going to do the whole women's list and the pound for pound January 6th when we come back in 2022. For everybody at MMA Complete, thank you so much for being here with us for 2021. It was the first full year of the podcast. We started mid-2020, so it was... we did a lot of episodes. We did 51 episodes, not including the pay-per-views. So with the pay-per-views, we probably did like 65 episodes. was a blast. Thank everybody who supported us. Thank everybody who followed us on Twitter at @complete_MMA. Go check us out on our YouTube page, MMA Complete Podcast, and go follow Fans Only Sports on their many platforms. It's only getting bigger. We're only going to get better. 2022, a lot of shit's going to happen. Hopefully it's as great of a year in the UFC as it was this year, because this year was it was a great year. For everybody at MMA Complete, me, Austin, Colby, Mike, Mark, and Dylan, who couldn't be here with us tonight, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you next year.
Next year.
Have a great night, and Happy New Year's to everybody.
What the